Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. This is Smart Business Moves. It is Monday, February 22nd. Where did the month go?
We still got another week, Tom. I'm holding on to that week. I need it. So yeah. I moved my screen so y'all can see my cat there.
Yeah,
Background. Hey Olivia.
the cat is cleaning herself.
Grooming. She's grooming. Yes. She's doing a little bit of grooming up there.
We
Good
did,
girl.
we did an ad campaign kind of along the same lines, and the question we asked was, why clean yourself?
That's good. I actually like that. It's cute.
Yeah,
No reason. Not if you can get somebody else to do it.
that's right.
But please don't take
Can you
yourself to
imagine?
it.
Some people thought that was a little lacking in taste, but
Oh, really?
at
Oh,
least we
sorry.
got your attention.
Yeah. Hey, Leslie.
Happy Monday.
You saying that it was lacking in taste just took my mind to so many different places.
Yeah, no pun intended there.
Yeah. So how was your weekend, Tom?
Let's see, how was the weekend? It was good, actually. Got a little bit of work done. Did a couple family things. Did a little yard work, actually. I do yard work now.
Wow. No, I did not know
That'll be
that.
my next gig after I do everything that on my list that I need to accomplish in the house cleaning arena.
Then you do a little yard work. No, I did not know that. I guess I could picture you riding around on some sort of a machine or something.
No, this is all manual labor, some chainsaw action involved, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
For what? You don't have any, what are you going to chainsaw?
There's some trees here and some things with large enough branches that you wouldn't want to do it with a handsaw. How about that?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Linda. Hey, Starlene. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, it's been raining pretty much, either raining or snowing here pretty much for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks. Nobody's doing anything outside here. So, par for
Yeah,
the course.
the weather's been hit and miss here too. A lot more cloudy days than sunshine here over the last couple of weeks. The weekend was pretty though, but it's kind of gloomy now. But it's supposed to be nice the rest of the week after this last thing goes through.
And it really is so pretty there. One thing I remember about being in Charleston was it felt like the sky was bigger in Charleston. I guess it's because you guys don't really have a lot of trees like we have, and mountains.
Well, there's some people that might argue the point about trees and
Trees.
how awesome the trees are here.
Okay, so to be clear, you're talking about Kelly, and she never said that they were awesome. She just wanted to know more about them. She wanted you to tell her about them.
I think she was impressed. She
Yeah,
was certainly interested.
they were different than what we have here. Yeah, I'll give you that.
We saw it drove by a plantation and gave her some idea as to how big an old oak tree could get.
And all the grasses. She really did like all the grasses. We don't have all those grasses. I do remember that. Well, the different things you think about when you go to Charleston, right?
Looks like your cat's really busy now.
Sorry. Olivia.
Why clean yourself?
Okay. All right. Well, how was your guys' weekend? Did you guys all have good weekends? Yes. So hard. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the camera for us is backwards on what's the name of this? StreamYard. Usually when you're doing Facebook Live or whatever, it's the same as normal. Like whatever. This is my right ear, and then I don't even know how to explain it. It's reversed here on StreamYard than it would normally be in a mirror. So it's hard to, like, right now I'm pointing. Yeah, it's hard to explain.
I'll look this way, but it looks like I'm looking the
other way. Yeah. It feels odd. It's awkward. So trying to cover up my cat is not as easy as you might think. Oh, what do we got here now?
This is news that came out today. This was out this morning. A couple of tweaks to the PPP, or at least this is what the article here is saying. I'll copy this and drop it in chat. The Biden administration is making some changes to make the monies more available to smaller businesses, minority-owned firms, and sole proprietorships. Starting this Wednesday for a 2-week period, they will only be taking PPP loans from companies with fewer than 20 employees.
Oh, wow. So really small. All right.
So if you have a smaller firm, that can be good news.
Yeah.
If you have a larger firm, you haven't applied yet, you might want to do it tomorrow.
Or today. If you're on any place except the East Coast, you still have time today. Right? So Central, Pacific, Mountain, get your booties in there, and it's not hard. You just have to get it done today or tomorrow, sounds like. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait 2 more weeks.
According to this, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great news. I do know a small company that has been trying to do some prep work to be able to do this, and I'm going to tell her. We received ours too, Leslie, but I know that a lot of people haven't even applied yet. So I know a few people that didn't get any. They weren't eligible. I'm like, oh, that's hard. Sorry. But then again, if you're doing so well that you're not eligible, I can't feel too sorry for you. A little bit, but not too sorry. Okay, so let's see. Let me write this down so I don't forget to tell her. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That's good. Good news, Tom. Thanks for that. Hey, oh, did you block this Tubcraft Coatings person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're on almost every time we're on. It's not a business, huh?
I don't know.
I hope not. Since you blocked them.
I don't know who they are. You know, if I don't know you, I'm
blocking you.
If you're a friend, let us know and I'll fix that.
Oh, they're blocked. Well, whoever you are, Tubcraft Coatings, if you are a legit business that really wanted to get on here and watch the Facebook Live, reach out to me on my Facebook page, Liz Trotter, and I'll get Tom to unblock you.
Have you noticed some of those like bad things floating around in Facebook, like where people's accounts are getting hacked?
Mm-hmm.
So
I have.
If you get a Facebook Messenger from somebody saying, "Hey, this is video. You're in this video," don't click on that.
Yeah, I've gotten like 4 of those just today.
Well, I've gotten a couple.
Yeah, it's a big thing right now. I mean, they've always been around, but they kind of go in spurts. But today, 4 of them. So something big must be happening. Hey, Denise.
It's rampant. I tell you, it's rampant.
Yeah. All right, so I am doing my Invisalign, so I'm gonna mute or stop my camera so y'all don't have to watch me put it in. Huh? You're so lucky. There you go. I had to go.
Is that like time sensitive? Was it like you're supposed to get in at 10 after? 10 after the top of the hour, 2 o'clock, and
you can only go 2 hours per day without having it in. And today I had to go to the dentist, and so I couldn't wear it because of the fluoride treatment. And I was supposed to put it back in before 2 o'clock, and I forgot.
My oh my! Well,
yes, it was time sensitive. Yes,
glad we got that. Glad we got that.
Ernie's. Oh yeah, I got a hacked one from Ernie today.
Yeah, I got a couple from Ernie actually.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, Leslie did that. So Leslie, you're the person, you personally are responsible for like all of these bad Facebook things flying. Oh, the
She's
teeth
probably
thing.
talking Invisalign. Yeah,
Oh,
Invisalign.
okay. Never mind.
My guess is Invisalign, right? So you only could 2 hours, right, Leslie? And I've already been out 2 hours. Plus, I have to eat today at some point in time. So I needed to get it in. I'm not going to wait a whole another hour. But I saved you guys. So I'm happy to look at it.
Guess what we're going to talk about today?
Let's see. Net profit by any chance?
We're going to be talking about, well, yeah, one way or another, we're going to be talking about profit, no doubt. Specifically, though, guess what we're going to be talking about?
Average bill per cleaning.
Yes,
I wonder if that could be it. I'm so smart, Tom. Thank you for that easy test.
You're clairvoyant.
Personal problem. Yes, Denise, it was a personal problem. You all got to share in, kind of.
Between that and Olivia's got personal problems. Liz,
oh gosh, oh man, it's an adventure over here, y'all. It's all our personal stuff we got going on.
Okay, well, you guys know the drill. The green numbers go up, the red numbers go down, and today we want to spend a little more time talking about, well, I guess for the first time actually, the average bill rate per cleaning. Certainly, it's no surprise to anyone here that the higher your average bill rate is per cleaning, the better your chances are you're going to be more profitable, right?
Yep.
We'd all like for our customers to give us more money for every job that we do. So we're going to talk a little bit about why that's the case and why that's important. And some of this is obvious, but you drill down into it a little bit. Maybe there's some aspects of this that aren't quite as obvious, but once you see it, it makes it even more real. We talked about quality yesterday. This is where we are. Get my stuff together.
No, when I was speaking of the dentist today, when I was at the dentist, there was a sign on the front window that said, due to the additional PPP that costs that we have incurred, all visits will be receiving a $10 additional fee. I was like, wow, that's pretty steep from a dental office where they already wore masks and gloves. I'm like, what? I wonder what the additional PPP is. So now they have face shields and they have to do more cleaning and disinfecting. So, but I was like, wow. I asked her if she's gotten much pushback from the $10 per visit. And she said, no, she hadn't gotten any pushback. But I think that's probably because people only go there once every 4 months.
Or if you don't want to pay the $10, we just won't disinfect.
Yeah, we won't wear any. We'll sneeze in your face.
Open wide. What are you going to say, huh?
I thought it was interesting. I was like, all right, that's good to know. All right, so what are we looking at here? Let's see.
You might remember this is kind of where we were last week, and we were talking about the average revenue per job, and we were talking about, how many jobs you do a month per recurring customer, and both of those are green numbers. Mm-hmm. Average monthly loss rate for recurring home, that's a red number. Yeah. And our loaded direct payroll to revenue, which is a red number. We know all that. You do the math, and based on $150 per job, 2 jobs a month with a 5% attrition rate, that gives you 20 months worth of service, because it's 1 divided by the monthly loss rate to give you the number of months of service. So you do the math, multiply 20 months times 2 jobs times 150. That's $6,000 in lifetime revenue on the average. 45% cost of goods sold. That leaves you $3,300 over as gross profit over the lifetime of that customer.
Just a reminder, we are talking gross profit, which means your expenses all still have to come out of there before you actually get to net profit, the money that you get to keep and do what you want with.
Yep. That doesn't all go in your pocket initially, but once you pay all your fixed costs for the month, then it does start going into your pocket.
Yeah.
Let's talk about new for a minute.
Okay.
Let's pretend that we're able to get that to go up. How much? 5%? 10%?
Sure. Well, let's say 5%, because I think most people feel comfortable doing a 5% price increase, but 10% starts feeling a little hard for people.
So I'm going to take the old number and multiply it 1 plus that percentage there, whatever that is. That comes up to be $158. Now, you're asking, why did I do that? Why don't I just take that number and multiply it times 1.05?
Yeah, why?
Because now we want to say, well, what happens if it goes up 7%? I can type that there and it does it for me automatically.
Why couldn't you just say that number times whatever's in that field, D5?
Well, when you say that number, what do you mean that number?
15% of so 15%. Oh, I see. Never mind. I know why you did it, because you were putting the percentage up there.
Yeah, this allows you to do that what if analysis.
Yeah.
When you guys are playing around with spreadsheets, if you build it that way, then you can go ahead and you can plug in different percentages and see how that changes your numbers. So if it's 5%, and over the lifetime, the difference would be not a crazy amount for one customer. It's $165 of gross profit. Of course, it's going to take you 20 months to get there. But if any of us have a business, we've got more than one customer, right?
Yeah.
So let's how many, this is like per home. So let's pretend, I don't know, how many homes would a cleaning company have? What do we want to pretend?
How about 100? Make it nice, easy math.
Okay, and we'll do that on both sides of the equation. Tighten this up a little bit so we can see what's going on.
Okay.
So it doesn't spell anything, does it?
You know what you meant. I'm trying to convert monthly to bi-weeklies. How much would you raise their rates? Okay, that's a good question, Denise. We'll hit that up in just a sec.
So that 5% gets you another $16,000, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
And if I divide that by the number of months, 20, it goes down a little bit, but still 825, right? That's
825 what?
Per month.
Oh, okay.
I took the 16.5. Remember, that's the lifetime, which is 20 months. Yeah. I divide it by that, it gives you 825 per month. Which,
if you don't compare those numbers, just think in your head, what if you had an additional $825 per month, right? Just thinking about that number right there to be able to do more of whatever it is that you want to do.
In this context, that's either profit or it's reducing what you call a net operating loss. It's reducing, if you're not being profitable, if you're losing money, that's $825 less that you would be losing. Any way you slice it, and the way you slice it, that's $825 more you would have in your pocket than what you would have without the increase.
Yeah. And that's every month for 20 months. So that's awesome.
1%, it's $165 a month, okay? So if it's 10%, oops. It's double. It's like $1,600.
So this might be a way for some of you that struggle to do your price increases. It's so hard, and a lot of times it can seem like it's not really that much money and it's not worth the hassle, but maybe it's worth the hassle when it's $1,600 per month that is going to be coming in. And over the course of remember the lifetime value of that customer, an additional $33,000 that you could be getting. So $33,000 sounds like it might be worth it to do your price increases. Now, let's say that you're still afraid, you're still nervous, you're still like, what's the number? Show us 3%, Tom.
Sure.
Because 3%, I think, is a number that if you look at that, that means for the customer, their price is going to go up from $150 to $155. I think you're going to be hard pressed to think that $5 is going to stress somebody out enough to leave your company, unless they were already unhappy. And if they were already unhappy, this is just going to shine a light on that. And it's going to give you an opportunity to fix whatever those problems were. So at 3%, just a small amount, you're still making an additional $9,900. This is almost $10,000. Think about that for the client's only giving you $5. So is it really worth it? 3% is the sweet spot for you, Leslie, where it just doesn't hurt anybody. So I like 4%. Show 4%, Tom. 4% is just 1% more, and it's just one more dollar. From $5 to $6, I don't think very many people notice that other dollar on there. So you got to find the sweet spot for you, what works. But for sure, there's no reason to be giving up all of this money. All right. Trying to convert monthly to bi-weeklies. How much would you raise their rates? All right. So for me, this would be more of a rate adjustment than raising their rates. I wouldn't be raising their rates. I would be adjusting.
Do you think that we mean from going from bi-weekly to monthly?
No, she's talking about converting. She's got monthly clients and she wants to get them to go to bi-weekly. You know, this is Carrie's strategy.
Does she raise their rate or lower their rate?
I'm guessing she would lower it for the cleaning, but maybe it would be more for the month.
Well, for the month,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, maybe on a per job basis, the assumption would be that, you're going to charge me, you're going to charge less per cleaning, the higher the frequency.
All right. So you said yes, Denise. Are you saying yes to, so I'm just going to ask you one question and we'll wait for your response. Are you saying yes to, oh no, that's Leslie. Okay. Yes to, you're going to lower their cleaning rate for each individual clean, but they'll end up paying more per month. And now it's time to also raise the rate. Is that what you were saying? Otherwise, you might need to give us a little bit more information. Let's just go with, here it is. Raise the monthly rates and offer a bi-weekly voucher, etc. Exactly what Carrie does. I don't know what a bi-weekly voucher is. Do you, Tom? We don't really know what that is. So this is what I know that Carrie does. So she says, hey, you've got monthly cleaning. Let's incentivize you to go to bi-weekly cleaning. And we're going to give you some stuff if you go to bi-weekly. You want to get rid of monthlies. All right. So if you want to get rid of monthlies, then what you do is you give them a lower price per cleaning. So if they were paying 150 once a month, then you would lower it so that every other week you're going to come. So they're going to pay more over the course of the month, but the individual cleaning is going to be less.
Individuals will be less, but there should be a gap, a substantial gap, a material gap between on a per job basis, a per cleaning basis, what every 4-week customer pays versus an every 2-week customer pays. You want every 2. You want somebody to look, regardless if they're 2 weeks or go every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah, you want them to look at that and say, you know what, it's a deal. I'm getting a deal if I go every 2 weeks, because the difference in cleaning per job is so much less every 2 weeks. So the question is, do you discount your every 2-week cleaning, or do you increase your every 4-week cleaning?
And I think if you brought somebody in at every 4 weeks, you have no option but to reduce the amount. But I think that most of the time what you want to do, Denise, is when you're booking the job, you want to book everybody as biweekly. And then if they decide they want monthly, then you raise their rate. So they have to pay more to be monthly. Once you already have them at monthly, then you're going to have to reduce the job rate for going biweekly. And the number I've heard that goes along with that most often is 15 to 25%. Most people landing right around 20%.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That it needs to be material. It needs to be where somebody's going to take a look at it. So for any new customer that you're quoting, you want to, you don't want to be decreasing what you're charging for your biweekly rate. You want to be increasing what you're charging for your every 4-week rate to get 15 to 25%.
So I really like to start everybody out with a biweekly price. That's just the price that we give them, is the biweekly price. And if they want monthly, then we raise it. And if they want weekly, then we're like, oh, okay, well, then we can reduce it a little. But you still end up doing a lot of work on those weekly people. We don't reduce it the same amount for weekly as we do raise it for monthly, because with your weekly people, you still do usually end up doing a lot of work. The reason why those people want weekly is they're picky. They feel like their house is dirty in 1 week. So they need everything cleaned, or maybe not everything, but they need a lot of it cleaned. So I hope that was helpful. If you're talking about raising the rates, then once you have somebody at, whether you have somebody at monthly or biweekly or weekly, usually people will pick one rate, one amount that they're raising people, and regardless of if they're weekly, biweekly, or monthly. So like Leslie said, her sweet spot is 3%. So I'm guessing, she didn't say this, but I'm guessing she raises people 3% regardless of their frequency. We are at $48 and haven't raised prices in a while. This is top of the market. Our minimum for monthly is 4 hours, and they don't get priority scheduling. All right. So that's and I like that idea of they don't get the priority scheduling. So, and that there is a minimum on that, like throwing more hurdles in the way of that not looking so appealing.
But I love that. If I wanted priority scheduling, would you give that to me if I paid like an extra fixed rate or an extra couple bucks more an hour?
I don't know. Would you, Leslie? Can they, if they want priority scheduling, but they want to be monthly, can they pay, instead of paying $48 an hour, can they pay $50?
I wonder if that's an upsell opportunity.
Yeah. I don't know. If you're trying to get everybody off of monthly, you might not want to have an upsell opportunity. You might, but you might not.
Okay. So, you guys knew this before we even started, that all things being equal, if you could charge more per job, you're going to make more money, you're going to be more profitable.
Nope, no option. She uses them as fill. Okay, that makes sense. I've heard of other companies doing that too. They don't have a set day. They get popped onto the schedule as the schedule allows. When there's availability, they get put on. If there's no availability, they don't.
So where do we want to start with, how do we increase the average bill rate per cleaning?
What's your plan?
Huh?
What's your plan?
I've got a plan. I've got an idea.
You
ever hear? Yeah, I do. Every once in a while. The old saying, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before getting too deep into talking about how do we increase it, we need to start by knowing where it is. So are we able to measure, our revenue per job hour? So we've talked about job hours and clock hours. I'm talking specifically just for the time that your technicians are on the job, your cleaning professionals are on the job cleaning. What is your average revenue per job hour, and what is your revenue per job hour for every job? Do you have a mechanism to do that? You can do it with paper and pencil. You can do it with various software platforms. I mean, we do that in Made Central in a very efficient way. Your teams are basically clocking in and out for the day and checking in and out of jobs, and that the whole thing is completely automated. But there was a time that we did that with paper and pencil, and every team recorded their start time and the end time, and we plugged it. I mean, at one time we were actually plugging those numbers into a spreadsheet, and we were running the calculations.
Yep, we did it in Bertha for years and years and years. So, but most scheduling programs nowadays, I think, will give you your revenue per job hour. I feel like I've seen that on the Customer Factor, maybe on Jobber. Anybody doesn't have that in their scheduling program, let me know, because I was just curious about it. By frequency.
You want to know what that is for your every week homes, your every other week homes, your every 4-week homes, your singles or one-time jobs, because they should all be a little bit different, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
The higher the frequency, the lower the revenue per job hour would be the thinking.
Yep, you would hope. And usually you will have a different number, because you probably are charging more for your single cleans or your vacants, your move in, your move out. You're probably charging more for those because they are harder in a lot of ways. They take up more supplies. They cost more to clean. So most people charge a higher rate for those.
I'm going to throw another one here, and this is a little more complicated, and you can do this in a spreadsheet, but this is a little more complicated.
It's hard.
Yeah. Whereas you ever look at a particular job and the amount of time it took was longer than you thought, or maybe it's shorter than you thought, and you just kind of scratching your head and wondering, how did I get, how was I so wrong about, predicting how long that job was going to take? And then you go look at the people who cleaned it. You go, oh, okay, I understand. They're always fast or they're always slow.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm sure that's all companies. You guys probably have this too. You have some cleaning professionals that are just really fast, and they get things done quickly. And then you have other cleaning professionals that are not so much, that it always takes them all of the allowed time, if not more, where your fast ones rarely need all of the time, and they're both still sitting at that same scorecard rating. So you all have that, right? That's not just Tom and me, I hope. So this idea of normalizing by the cleaning professional, Tom's going to explain how this works, but it's based on the individual cleaning professional. Is this one fast? Is this one slow? And what does that mean to this job? How are you going to show everybody this, Tom? Because I don't think this concept is easy.
Have we done this already?
No, we have not. We don't do any one-time cleans unless we have a lot of openings. I feel they are hard on our cleaners and tend to be problematic. There you go. So you're not the only one that I've heard that just doesn't do them at all, Leslie. Just if you've got openings, okay, then you might take one here or there, but not part of your basic work that you do. Clean as many houses as you can at the highest price you can and make it easier than anyone else to do business with. For example, consider taking 2 monthly jobs. Negotiate to get them to accept every 4 weeks. Marry them with another every 4 weeks, or charge a little more for not being more frequent. Now you have the equal of a biweekly job at a higher price. Yep. Especially if, and it kind of depends on where they're located. So if they're not located in the same area, it can cause you a little bit of problem because they're not apples to apples then. Our whole focus is on biweekly. Yeah, I do love biweekly too. I used to love weekly, but it just became, that was so many years ago that weekly was really a thing. And now it's just not. Such a small percentage of our jobs are weekly now.
Where did all the weeklies go?
People don't need their house. All those people that were weekly were older and they've either died off or, people don't clean like they used to clean. It's just not the same. It's not the same. And one reason that there's a lot more work is a lot of the newer generation was never taught to clean. They don't even know how to clean. But on the flip side of that, because they don't know how to clean and they don't know what clean is, they're less picky. That does make it easier. Density is key. Yeah, David, I agree. It's and the density of the home and also the density of the neighborhoods or the travel time or where the homes are located. All right, what are we building out here, Tom?
Okay, these are some numbers that we've played with in the past, and I'm just going to flesh this out a little bit. Let's pretend
it's really tiny right now. Professional cleaning is too expensive for weekly. It was different when cleaning was $25 an hour.
Huh. Yeah. I wonder as time goes on and salaries increase, and I mean, it's just going to get more expensive. It's not going to get cheaper. I wonder what that's going to look like. What's it going to look like 5 years from now?
A lot of on demand.
Are we going to be talking about, well, gee, where'd all the biweeklies go?
Yeah, maybe. There are a lot of companies currently that the majority of their jobs are on demand. So it's already happening in some areas. What are we going to teach them, and who are them, David? You're going to teach them. All right. Yeah, this is better.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you got cleaning professional number 1. I don't know. Do we want to give them a name?
Sure. You can call them Liz.
Okay. Liz cleaned 30 homes. And if you remember, 30 is not always the magic number, but there's this thing in statistics called, the normalized approximation of some unknown distribution, where if you have a sample size of 30, in a lot of cases, that's good enough to get a pretty good ballpark of what the actual average is. And out of these 30 homes, say you had these allowed times here. Home 1 had allowed time of 3 hours, but they actually cleaned it in 2.5. I'll blow this up a little bit if you can't see it.
Oh yeah, that's way better. Thank you.
Cleaned another home, it had allowed time of 5 hours. Liz did it in 4. So Liz is pretty fast here. Liz is getting done consistently faster. So for all 30 homes, add up all the allowed times, it's 95. Mm-hmm. For all the actual times, it's 79.
Okay.
If I take, and remember, productivity is nothing more than the allowed time divided by the actual time. We've talked about that already, right?
Yep, we have. So I had to remember, though. I had to remember what it was.
Allowed divided by actual. So for Liz, her average productivity based on this 30 home sample is 1.20 or 120%. So on the average, if Liz is going to go clean a home tomorrow, we would expect that she would be cleaning it 20% faster than what a normal, an average, somebody with a productivity 100%, your normal operator from industrial engineering.
The normal allowed time.
Yeah, correct. So got a job with an allowed time. Oh, that's smaller. So say, 4 hours. The actual normalized allowed time, which means basically for Liz, down here a little bit so we can see it. In this back a little bit. Would be the 4 divided by the 120%. I would expect Liz to be able to clean that house in 3.32 hours.
Okay.
3.33.
Sounds good.
So what does that mean over here? And we're over here. When you're making some judgment about, am I charging enough for that home, or too much for that home? Do I need to charge more for that home? If you're able to measure your actual times and adjust them for the normal, for the productivity of that normal operator, because the flip side of it is, if we were over here doing this,
nothing's happening here. Tom, are you typing something? There we go.
Yep, I was looking for it. If you actually cleaned the home in 3.33 hours, you would multiply. If Liz actually cleaned the home in 4 hours, the normalized actual time would be the 4 times the 120%. Even though you did it in 4, a normal operator would take 4.8 hours.
Right. Okay. So how does this relate to the average bill rate? I mean, why is that important at all? Shouldn't you just automatically charge everybody by the 4 hours? Because if you normalize by CP, then when you do when they leave, whoever they are, whether they're good or whether they're bad, you change the rate?
No.
How does that work?
You don't change the rates, but in order for you to be able to price based upon what the market can bear, oftentimes if Liz is at 120% and you're looking at your revenue per hour based on what Liz is getting, you're thinking that, well, I'm making my $45 an hour, if that's your target rate. But if your target rate is $45 an hour, on the average, you take everybody, it should come out to be like normal. It should be 100%, right?
Somewhere around 4.
Some of the people are going to be less than 100%. Some of the people are going to be more than 100%. But if do it this way, if your average revenue per hour, if you have a target of say $45,
okay,
and for Liz, it would be this number times 1.2.
Could you remove Leslie's comment? Tell him I can't see. There we go. Thank you. So, so what do we do with this number? How is it helpful? I mean, yay, good. We know that, but what do we do with it?
Going back over here, you want to measure your revenue per job hour. You make determinations. Am I pricing correctly? Do I have certain jobs that I need to do rate adjustments for? If I'm looking at Liz cleaning something and Liz is making her $45 per hour, I might say, and if that's my goal, if that's my target, then you're going to be above that usually. But what I really would be looking for from you would be $55 an hour, $54.11, because your productivity is typically 120%.
So Liz cleans Mrs. Johnson's house, and Liz gets $54.11 per hour. And the goal is $45 per hour. So Liz is getting more money. When it comes time, a year has gone, and it's Mrs. Johnson's anniversary date. Do we raise her or not? Do we raise her price or not?
I don't understand your question.
All right. So we're charging Mrs. Johnson $45. Let's say we're charging her just 2 hours.
It works out if you look at all the cleanings over the year. Are you cleaning? Let's pretend you're the only person that cleans her over the course of the year.
Okay.
And she should, her average should be $54 an hour.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then she's not paying enough. She should have had a rate adjustment, 10 months ago.
Okay. So
which is counterintuitive because it's over 45. But that 45 is for the average for the entire company. But if Liz is the only person cleaning it, and we know that Liz is 20% faster than the normal person, we're basically selling it cheap to Mrs. Whoever it is, Mrs. Jones, because it's getting, we're missing the fact that, she's not paying enough. She needs to pay 54 if Liz is cleaning, because Liz is 20% faster.
All right. So if Liz is the only one that's been cleaning, and so we've been making $54.11 per hour, and our target is 45, that when in a year has gone up and Liz is the only one that's been cleaning, we would raise her rate. Is that right? We would raise Mrs. Johnson's rate?
Over the course of the year, were we actually getting 54? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because Liz is 120% more productive.
If we're doing like a 3% or 4% across the board, we'd raise it 4%.
Okay. And so, and we would need to do that to be able to keep our average in line, because we're going to have some that we're only 90% productive, and we're only going to raise them 3 or 4% as well. Is that right?
Likewise, or the flip side of it is, if at the end of the year, Mrs. Jones's average revenue per hour is $45,
Mm-hmm.
And that meant that she was underpriced by 20% for the entire year. But we never saw it because it was $45. But we never adjusted it for the fact that Liz is 20% faster than the average technician.
Oh, I see what you mean. You meant if Liz had been cleaning all year
Yeah,
long.
Liz is the one.
And we only got $45.
Right.
Okay. So are you guys following along here? What do you guys think about this concept? Are you understanding it? Do you have any questions? Should we, give me some feedback here on where we're going with this.
Should have been getting an extra $9 an hour that you weren't because you're that much faster.
Because really, we weren't getting our normal allowed time. Our normal allowed time is $45. And we're really not getting that for Mrs. Johnson because when Liz cleaned it, she only got $45, which means if anybody else was to clean that house, they wouldn't get $45. They would get
if your average
like
if Liz was getting 45 and the average person was cleaning it. Let's just go down here.
I think we got some stuck people here, Tom.
Okay.
They got no comments.
If Liz was getting 45 an hour,
mm-hmm.
then the normal operator would only be getting 37 an hour.
All right. So the reason why we would want to be raising that, especially if Liz was cleaning it and only getting 45, is because we can't afford to send anybody else there. If Liz doesn't work here anymore, then we really can't even afford to send somebody else in her place. So we've got to keep that price up for Liz at the $54.11 rate.
Or another way of looking at it is for situations where Liz is actually getting 45, mm-hmm. then you're leaving $9.11 on the table for every hour that Liz cleans a home for every customer. If her average is not for every, but on the average for every, you're leaving $9.11 on the table for every hour she works.
And all of these numbers, you guys, are assuming that Liz's scorecard ratings are on par with everybody else's.
Yeah, all things being equal, that your quality is there and you're not losing customers and upsetting people and so forth.
No other problems.
This is a bit confusing. I get it. Maybe we need to slow down and dig into this a little bit, but we paint everybody with the same brush. And when we start talking about, getting our average bill rate up per cleaning, then you really need to look at, well, who's cleaning the homes? Now, if all your cleaners work at the same pace and nobody's slower or faster than anybody else, then the math gets a whole lot easier.
So I think probably where some people are stuck right now, Tom, is, so what do we do with this information? All right, so here it is. It's March, okay? So I'm getting ready to do my March price increases. I want to send them out on March 1st. It's February 22nd, and I have this normalized information. Am I supposed to have this normalized information for every team member, for every house? How does it play out? Am I supposed to change the amount that I'm raising people? What does this mean as far as my activity in my company? What do I do with this information? I understand that now I know exactly how much faster Liz is or how much slower Rachel is, but how does that change my workflow?
Okay. If you've got the right software, it'll do a lot of this math for you. If you're doing it with a spreadsheet, you're going to probably have to make some general assumptions.
Okay.
For starters, it would probably be a good idea for us to, if we don't have the ability to figure out everybody's productivity based on the total, number of jobs that they've done for a period of time, at least do a sample to figure out what the productivity rate is for your cleaners.
Okay.
And all of this is based upon a solo cleaning model. This gets a little more complicated when you've got two or more person teams, because then you start having to average the productivity between the two people, and that we don't want to get into to all of that. But at least anecdotally, when you're looking at making adjustments or increases, or looking at how good a job did I price that first time in that we did yesterday, you need to be making an adjustment for the people based on the people who clean the home, if they're typically faster than average or typically slower than average. Even if you don't do all of the math, you know, put it in a spreadsheet and make some assumption based on some small piece of data to normalize it. The overarching thing here is, if you don't normalize your rates, you're going to make bad assumptions. And if you're making bad assumptions, you're leaving money on the table. And everything that we've been doing here over the last, X number of weeks is trying to help us find more money out of the same homes that we're cleaning, right? Or to make more money off of every home we clean. And this whole concept just gets overlooked and lost because it's too complicated. But it doesn't
I don't think it's because it's too complicated. I think it's because it looks like too much work for the same outcome, or for such a very similar outcome. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So if I know that my average price per home, per job, is $150 overall with all of the employees, and I'm now going to raise all of my clients 4%, why do I need to know any of the other? Unless I'm going to go through every single client and, okay, Liz cleans this house and she's only getting 45. She should be getting 54. Okay, so instead of 4%, I'm going to raise her 7% on this one, or 8%. And Mrs. Smith down here is being cleaned by Rachel. Uh-oh, Rachel is slow, and she's only performing at 90%. So I have to raise her less, more? I'm not sure. Do I have to do every individual client? Can I no longer do the 4% across the board? Because if I do, won't I get sort of the same thing?
You don't have to do anything, but I would argue you're going to be more profitable if you look at every one of those, we call them service sets, every one of those homes, through the lens of normalized times, and make your adjustments based on those numbers as opposed to just the raw data. So yeah, on a home by home basis.
All right. So
if you're doing this with spreadsheets, and I mean, at some point, you got to play the hand you're dealt. But ultimately, I mean, that's how you maximize the amount of profit that you would make off of each and every home.
So if you have the capability, ideally, your suggestion, Tom, what I'm hearing is, ideally, if you have the capability, you would be better off raising each job individually based on the normalized time for the CP cleaning. And if the CPs change all the time, you would just look, instead of doing it by CP, you would do it according to just the average time for that job. Is that right? Did I get it right?
Say that again.
All right. So if you have the capability of finding out what the normalized time was for the employee, then and you're keeping, for the most part, you're keeping the same cleaning professionals on the same jobs, then the ideal way would be, oh my gosh, we are already top of the hour. The ideal way of managing this would be to do each individual job. Okay.
Because here's the deal. If you're giving somebody a rate increase or a rate adjustment and they're questioning, am I being billed fairly? And they call up a comparable competitor and get a quote from them, you want the numbers to be in the ballpark, right?
Yeah.
And, if you've got somebody who's typically slow cleaning that home, and you're going to look at it and say, well, gee, I am just not charging enough. I'm not getting my 45 an hour. And you go ahead and you jack it up, but the person cleaning it's at 80%, productivity, then you're going to be overcharging. And they're going to call your competitor and say, these guys are trying to rip me off. I'm going to hire, the other company down the street.
Which I think is why people use that average number to go by, and they don't go by that slow person or not. All right, so we are out of time.
The average number is great because the average operator, but
right. So y'all, give us some feedback here. I know that this is a brand new concept for a lot of people. Give me a little bit of feedback. I know that we are way over time today. We're 2 minutes over. We're pretty good at lately stopping on time. We'll, based on your feedback, we'll pick this up tomorrow.
We're here all week, so don't.
Yeah, we'll be here all week.
Or if this is too painful, we could talk about something else.
Yeah, we can move on from this. If it's just
I promise you, though, there's money here that we're leaving on the table. If we can embrace the concept, we can make more profit.
I'm gonna make Tom show us how there's money on the table here later. Okay.
We'll be here all week, folks.
All right.
Bye, y'all. We'll be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern. Bye-bye.